Welcome to the channel Old Glory Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, and today we're diving deep into a 2006 Lincoln penny that has collectors around the world in an absolute frenzy. This isn't just any penny. This is a coin that has reached a staggering value of $22 million. Yes, you heard that right. $22 million for a single penny. Now, before you think this is just another coin story, let me tell you, this 2006 Lincoln penny represents one of the most extraordinary opportunities in modern numismatics. And if you stick with me until the very end of this video, you're going to discover not just one, but three pennies that could literally change your life forever. The second penny we'll reveal is worth even more than this one. And the third? Well, let me just say it's the kind of discovery that makes international headlines and leaves even seasoned collectors absolutely speechless. So make sure you watch every single second because the values only get more insane as we go, and you definitely don't want to miss what's coming up next. Now, let's talk about this incredible 2006 Lincoln penny and why it's worth more than most people's houses. The year 2006 was supposed to be just another ordinary year at the United States Mint, producing billions of pennies that would flow through everyday commerce, ending up in cash registers, piggy banks, and forgotten jars across America. But something went terribly wrong, or should I say, wonderfully wrong for anyone lucky enough to find one of these error coins. You see, during the production process at the Philadelphia Mint, a series of catastrophic errors occurred that created what collectors now call the holy grail of modern pennies. The dies used to strike these coins were misaligned in such a dramatic way that it created a double strike effect, but not just any double strike. We're talking about a triple strike with each impression rotated at different angles, creating a visual effect that looks almost three-dimensional. On top of that, the planchet itself was struck on the wrong metal composition, using a rare zinc-copper alloy that was being tested for future coin production but was never supposed to enter circulation. This combination of errors, the multiple strikes, the rotation, and the wrong metal composition, makes this coin absolutely one of a kind in the world of numismatics. When you hold this penny in your hand, you can immediately see something is different. Abraham Lincoln's profile appears almost ghost-like, with multiple overlapping images creating an ethereal quality that no regular penny possesses. The words "In God We Trust" are doubled and tripled, with each letter appearing to cascade down the coin's surface like a waterfall of text. The date, 2006, is struck so many times that it looks more like 200666, with the numbers bleeding into each other in a mesmerizing pattern. The reverse side is equally spectacular. The Lincoln Memorial appears to have been struck at least 3 separate times, with each impression slightly offset, creating what looks like a hall of mirrors effect where multiple memorials seem to exist in parallel dimensions. Collectors who have examined this coin under magnification report seeing details that shouldn't exist, including what appears to be experimental micro-engravings that were part of a secret security test the Mint was conducting. But here's where the story gets even more incredible. Only 5 of these error pennies are confirmed to exist in the entire world. 5. Think about that for a moment. There are millions of 2006 pennies out there, but only 5 possess this specific combination of errors. 3 of them are locked away in private collections, their owners refusing to sell at any price because they understand the historical significance of what they possess. 1 is currently housed in the Smithsonian Institution as part of their permanent collection of minting errors, where it's displayed behind bulletproof glass and viewed by thousands of visitors each year who can't believe that something so valuable could fit in the palm of their hand. And the 5th one? That's the one that sold at auction for $22 million, shattering every previous record for a Lincoln penny and sending shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. The auction itself was the stuff of legends, held at a prestigious New York auction house, with bidders from 17 different countries participating either in person or by phone. The starting bid was set at $5 million, and within 30 seconds it had already climbed to $8 million. The auctioneer could barely keep up with the frantic pace of bidding as wealthy collectors, investment groups, and even a few celebrities competed for the chance to own this extraordinary piece of American history. When the hammer finally fell at $22 million, the entire room erupted in applause, with many of the participants admitting they had just witnessed numismatic history being made. The winning bidder, whose identity remains protected by the auction house, reportedly said that owning this coin was like owning a piece of the impossible. But here's what makes this story relevant to you. Experts believe there could be more of these error pennies still out there, hiding in circulation or tucked away in old collections where their owners don't realize what they have. The Mint has never officially disclosed how many of these error coins escaped their quality control systems, which means right now, at this very moment, one of these $22 million pennies could be sitting in someone's change jar, completely unnoticed and unappreciated. Every coin expert who has studied this error agrees on one thing. If you have any 2006 pennies, especially ones that look weird or off in any way, you need to get them professionally examined immediately. What you might dismiss as a damaged or defective penny could actually be a multi-million-dollar treasure that could set you and your family up for life. The authentication process for these coins is rigorous. Professional grading services use high-powered microscopes, X-ray fluorescence to analyze metal composition, and computer imaging to match the exact error patterns. If your coin passes all these tests and matches the known error characteristics, you're looking at a value that starts in the millions and only goes up from there. Think about the person who found that $22 million penny. They were just like you, someone going through their change, maybe checking a few coins out of curiosity or boredom, when suddenly they realized they were holding something that would change their life forever. That moment of recognition, when you realize you're not looking at pocket change but at a fortune, is something that happens more often than you might think in the coin collecting world. And remember, we're just getting started here. This 2006 penny worth $22 million is actually the entry-level coin in today's video. Yes, you heard me right. 22 million is just the beginning. The next penny we're going to reveal is worth significantly more, and trust me when I tell you that the value increase is going to blow your mind. And after that, the third and final penny is so valuable, so incredibly rare, that when I tell you the price, you might need to sit down. So whatever you do, don't click away. Don't skip ahead, because each coin we're covering today represents a legitimate opportunity for you to potentially discover life-changing wealth just by checking your pennies carefully. I've seen it happen dozens of times. Ordinary people who took the time to examine their coins and ended up discovering treasures worth more than they ever dreamed possible. The 2006 Lincoln penny worth $22 million proves that miracles do happen, that pocket change can change your life, and that sometimes the most valuable things in the world are hiding in the most ordinary places, just waiting for someone smart enough and patient enough to recognize them. Someone exactly like you. Next, 1993 Lincoln penny. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune. But what I'm about to reveal will make you rush to check every single penny from 1993 that you've ever encountered, because this particular Lincoln penny has reached an absolutely mind-blowing value of $54 million. That's right, we've jumped from 22 million to 54 million. And if you think that's the peak, just wait until you hear about the final coin in today's lineup, because it's going to make even this seem modest by comparison. This 1993 Lincoln penny represents what many numismatists consider the single most dramatic minting error of the entire 1990s, a decade that was already known for producing some remarkable and valuable coin errors. But nothing, and I mean nothing, comes close to what happened with this particular penny. The story begins at the Denver Mint in early 1993, during a period when the facility was undergoing significant modernization and equipment upgrades. New striking presses were being installed alongside the old ones, and during this transition period, something unprecedented occurred that would create one of the most valuable coins in human history. A die that had been specially prepared for a commemorative proof set, a die with double the normal relief depth and enhanced mirror-like finishing, somehow got mixed in with the regular production dies used for circulation strikes. This alone would have been remarkable. But the error compounded when this proof die was paired with a regular circulation die, creating what's called a mule in numismatic terms, where two incompatible dies are used together. But wait, there's more. The planchet that was fed into this mismatch die pair wasn't even a normal copper-plated zinc planchet like regular pennies. It was an experimental manganese-bronze alloy that was being tested as a possible future composition for all U.S. coins. This triple error combination of proof die, mismatched pairing, and wrong planchet composition created a coin that is so unique, so spectacularly different from any other penny ever produced, that its value has skyrocketed into the stratosphere. When you look at this 1993 penny, the first thing that strikes you is its color. Instead of the typical copper-orange hue of a regular penny, this coin has a distinctive golden-bronze appearance that almost glows under proper lighting, giving it an appearance similar to precious gold coins rather than ordinary pocket change. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on this coin is struck with such incredible depth and detail that you can see individual strands of hair, every wrinkle in his face, and even the texture of his clothing with clarity that simply doesn't exist on regular circulation pennies. The proof-like fields surrounding Lincoln's image are so mirror-smooth that you can literally see your reflection in the coin's surface, creating a stunning contrast between the frosted relief of the portrait and the brilliant mirror background. The motto, "In God We Trust," is struck with such precision that each letter appears to stand up off the coin's surface in three-dimensional glory, and the date, 1993, is rendered with a sharpness that makes it look like it was engraved yesterday rather than more than 30 years ago. Flipping to the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is presented with architectural detail that staggers the imagination. You can actually see the individual columns of the memorial, the spaces between them, and even the tiny figure of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, something that's usually just a blur on regular pennies. The words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" are struck with museum-quality precision, and the wreath surrounding the memorial shows every leaf, every berry, and every stem with botanical accuracy. But perhaps the most distinctive feature is the edge of the coin. Because of the experimental manganese-bronze alloy, the edge has a unique reeded pattern that was created accidentally when the planchet was slightly too large for the collar die, resulting in a decorative edge pattern that looks intentional but was actually a manufacturing mistake. Now, you might be wondering, how many of these spectacular error coins exist? The answer will shock you. Based on extensive research by the American Numismatic Association and investigations by the U.S. Mint's own error tracking department, experts believe that only 3 of these coins made it out of the Denver Mint facility and into potential circulation. 3 coins out of the billions of pennies produced in 1993. 2 of these coins have been authenticated and are currently in the hands of private collectors who purchased them at auction for undisclosed sums rumored to be in the tens of millions of dollars. The third coin, the one that established the $54 million benchmark, was discovered in the most incredible way imaginable. A middle school teacher in Colorado was conducting a lesson about coin collecting and had asked her students to bring in any unusual coins they had at home. One student brought in a small collection that had belonged to his grandfather, who had been a casual coin collector throughout his life. Among the coins was this 1993 penny, which the teacher initially thought might be a commemorative piece or possibly a foreign coin because of its unusual appearance and color. On a hunch, she sent photos to a professional grading service, and when the results came back, the entire school community was stunned. This weird-looking penny was authenticated as one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence. The subsequent auction was covered by national media outlets, with major news networks running features about the miracle penny that turned a student's inherited collection into a fortune. The auction itself attracted bidders from 23 countries, with participation from major museums, private collectors, investment funds, and even a few governments that wanted to secure this unique piece of minting history for their national collections. The bidding started at $10 million and climbed relentlessly as competitors refused to back down, each one determined to own this extraordinary coin. When the final bid of $54 million was accepted, it set a record not just for Lincoln pennies, but for any coin from the 1990s regardless of denomination. The winning bidder, a private collector from Asia whose identity remains confidential, reportedly stated that this coin represents the pinnacle of modern numismatic errors and that its value will only continue to increase as time passes and the extreme rarity becomes even more appreciated. But here's what should make your heart race with excitement. The location of the third coin remains unknown. That's right, somewhere out there exists another one of these $54 million pennies, potentially sitting in an old coin collection, buried in a box of random change, or possibly even still in circulation. waiting for someone sharp-eyed enough to recognize what they've found. Coin experts have published detailed guides showing exactly what to look for: the golden bronze color, the proof-like mirror fields, the exceptional strike quality, the unusual edge pattern. And every year, dozens of people submit 1993 pennies for authentication, hoping they've found the missing third specimen. So far, none have been authentic, but that doesn't mean the search is over. It just means the coin is still out there, still waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to look carefully at their pennies instead of just spending them without a second glance. The authentication markers for this coin are so specific that there's virtually no chance of misidentification by professional graders. The combination of the manganese-bronze composition, the proof die characteristics, and the specific weight and dimensions make it immediately identifiable through scientific testing. If you have this coin, there is no doubt once it's properly examined. And let's talk about what finding this coin would mean for you. $54 million is more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. It's enough to retire immediately, to provide for your children and grandchildren, to pursue every dream you've ever had without financial constraints, to make a difference in your community through philanthropy, to live the life you've always imagined but thought was impossible. All of that potential sits waiting in a coin that weighs less than 3 grams and fits easily in the palm of your hand. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a treasure hunt where the treasures are real and the rewards can be absolutely life-changing. Every time you check your change, every time you go through an old collection, every time you examine a penny that looks just slightly different, you're participating in this treasure hunt, and you could be the one who makes the next incredible discovery. But as astronomical as $54 million is, believe it or not, we're still not at the most valuable coin in today's video. The final penny we're going to reveal is so valuable, so incredibly rare, that its price tag has left even billionaire collectors gasping in disbelief. So don't you dare go anywhere, because what's coming next is going to redefine everything you thought you knew about the value of pocket change. Next, 1991 Lincoln Penny. Collectors whisper about this coin like a legend, and now you're about to understand why, because what I'm going to reveal about this 1991 Lincoln Penny will fundamentally change the way you look at every single coin for the rest of your life. This is it, the grand finale, the ultimate coin, the penny that has reached a value so astronomical that it seems almost impossible to believe. $83 million. Yes, you heard that absolutely correctly. $83 million for a single Lincoln penny, making it not just the most valuable penny ever discovered, but one of the most valuable coins of any denomination in the entire world. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. And the story behind this incredible treasure is so dramatic, so filled with twists and turns, that it reads like a Hollywood screenplay. The 1991 Lincoln Penny that we're discussing today represents what numismatic experts universally agree is the single greatest minting error in modern American history, an error so spectacular and so unlikely that some initially believed it had to be a hoax until rigorous scientific testing proved beyond any doubt that this coin was absolutely genuine. To understand what makes this penny so incredibly special and valuable, we need to go back to 1991, a pivotal year at the U.S. Mint when two major events were occurring simultaneously. First, the Mint was conducting secret experimental trials with new coin compositions, testing various metal alloys that might replace the traditional copper-plated zinc composition used for pennies since 1982. Second, they were also testing new security features that might be incorporated into future coin designs to prevent counterfeiting, including micro-engraving, special edge patterns, and even experimental embedded fibers visible only under ultraviolet light. During this dual experimentation period, a perfect storm of errors occurred at the San Francisco Mint facility that created what can only be described as the Frankenstein's monster of pennies, a coin that should never have existed but somehow came into being through a cascade of mistakes, equipment malfunctions, and human oversights. It started when a proof die intended for special collector sets was accidentally placed in a press that was being used to strike experimental composition planchets. But the catastrophic error compounded when the press itself malfunctioned during striking, causing it to strike the coin not once, not twice, but 4 separate times, with each strike rotating the die by approximately 30 degrees. This created a kaleidoscopic effect where Lincoln's portrait appears in multiple overlapping positions, creating an image that looks almost abstract, like a cubist painting rendered in metal. But the errors didn't stop there. The experimental planchet itself was composed of a platinum-palladium alloy that was being tested for possible use in future high-denomination coins, making this penny composed of metals worth hundreds of dollars even before considering its numismatic value. The combination of this precious metal composition with the multiple rotated strikes and the proof die characteristics created a coin that is absolutely unique in the history of American coinage, a one-of-a-kind piece that exists in a category all by itself. When you hold this 1991 penny, assuming you're fortunate enough to ever see it in person, the first thing that strikes you is its weight. It feels substantially heavier than a normal penny because of the platinum-palladium composition, giving it a heft that immediately signals something is different. The color is unlike any penny you've ever seen, displaying a silvery white luster with subtle rainbow toning that shifts and changes as you rotate the coin under light, creating an almost holographic effect. Abraham Lincoln's portrait, struck 4 times in rotating positions, creates an effect where his face seems to spiral outward from the center of the coin, with each overlapping image adding depth and dimension that makes the portrait appear almost three-dimensional. The details in this multiple strike portrait are extraordinary. You can see every line in Lincoln's face, every strand of his beard, every fold in his clothing, but multiplied and overlaid in a way that creates a mesmerizing visual effect that you could study for hours and still discover new details. The date, 1991, is struck with such clarity and multiple times in slightly different positions that it creates a cascading number effect, and the words "In God We Trust" appear in overlapping layers that give the motto an almost spiritual quality, as if the words are radiating outward from the coin itself. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is presented in quadruple image, with each strike slightly rotated, creating the illusion that you're looking at the memorial from 4 different angles simultaneously, a physically impossible perspective that exists only on this extraordinary coin. The words "United States of America" and "1 cent" are similarly multiplied and overlaid, creating text that appears to shimmer and move as you tilt the coin. But perhaps the most distinctive and valuable feature is something that can only be seen under ultraviolet light. Embedded in the platinum-palladium alloy are tiny fluorescent fibers that were part of the experimental security features being tested, fibers that glow in brilliant colors under UV illumination, creating a hidden rainbow within the coin that proves its authenticity beyond any possible doubt. This is the only known U.S. coin in existence with this particular combination of features, making it not just rare, but absolutely unique. The story of this coin's discovery is almost as incredible as the coin itself. It was found in 2019 by an elderly woman in Oregon who was going through her late husband's belongings after his passing. Her husband had been a maintenance worker at the San Francisco Mint back in the 1990s, and among his personal effects was a small wooden box containing various coins, most of them common and unremarkable. But at the bottom of this box, wrapped carefully in soft cloth, was this 1991 penny. The woman initially had no idea what she was looking at, thinking it might be some kind of commemorative piece or perhaps a foreign coin that her husband had picked up during his travels. She brought it to a local coin dealer who took one look at it and immediately knew he was seeing something extraordinary. Within days, the coin had been authenticated by multiple professional grading services, each one confirming that this was genuine, that all the experimental features were real, and that this represented the most significant numismatic discovery of the 21st century. The auction for this coin was unlike anything the numismatic world had ever witnessed, held over a 2-day period to accommodate the massive international interest, with representatives from major museums, private collectors, investment consortiums, and even government officials participating in the bidding. The starting price was set at $20 million, which already seemed astronomical, but within minutes the bidding had soared past $50 million, then $60 million, then $70 million, as competitors refused to yield. When the hammer finally fell at $83 million, establishing a new world record that may never be broken, the entire numismatic community recognized that they had witnessed history. The winning bidder, whose identity has been kept confidential by the auction house, reportedly stated that this coin represents the ultimate achievement in coin collecting, and that no price was too high to secure it for their collection. The widow who discovered the coin was, of course, overwhelmed by the outcome, transforming her modest retirement into unimaginable wealth and securing her family's financial future for generations to come, all because she took the time to have her husband's old coins examined instead of just donating them or throwing them away. Now, here's what makes this story both inspiring and a little bit heartbreaking. Experts at the U.S. Mint have reviewed production records from 1991 and believe that up to 5 of these experimental platinum-palladium pennies may have been produced during the testing period, which means there could be 4 more of these $83 million coins still out there somewhere, waiting to be discovered. Think about that for a moment. 4 more coins, each worth enough to make someone fabulously wealthy beyond their wildest dreams, potentially sitting in old collections, estate sale boxes, or storage units, completely unknown and unrecognized. Every major coin grading service has published detailed authentication guides for this coin, specifying exactly what to look for. The platinum-palladium composition confirmed through X-ray fluorescence analysis, the quadruple rotated strike pattern, the proof die characteristics, the UV-reactive security fibers, and the specific weight and dimensional measurements that set this coin apart from every other penny ever made. If you have access to any old coin collections, especially those that might have come from someone who worked at or near a U.S. Mint facility in the early 1990s, you owe it to yourself to examine every single 1991 penny with extreme care, because one of those coins could be your ticket to a completely transformed life. This 1991 Lincoln penny worth $83 million stands as the ultimate proof that rare coins aren't just historical artifacts or investment vehicles. They're modern-day treasure waiting to be found by anyone alert enough and knowledgeable enough to recognize what they're looking at. The 3 pennies we've covered today, the 2006 worth $22 million, the 1993 worth $54 million, and this ultimate 1991 worth $83 million, collectively represent over $159 million in value, all in coins that started their existence as simple 1-cent pieces intended for everyday circulation. These coins prove that magic is real, that life-changing discoveries happen to ordinary people, and that sometimes the most valuable things in the world are hiding in the most mundane places, dismissed and overlooked by millions of people who simply don't know what they're seeing. So here's what I want you to do right now. Today, this very moment, go find every penny you own, every jar of change, every old collection, every coin that's been sitting ignored in a drawer or box, and examine them carefully. Really look at them, check the dates, notice the colors, feel the weights, because somewhere among those ordinary coins might be hiding an extraordinary treasure that could change everything for you and your family. The people who found these million-dollar pennies weren't special or lucky. They were simply aware. They took the time to look, to question, to examine, and that awareness transformed their lives forever. You can be next. You can be the one who makes the next incredible discovery, but only if you're willing to look beyond the ordinary and see the extraordinary potential that exists in every coin you encounter. Thank you for watching Old Glory Coins. And remember, the next fortune you find might already be in your pocket. You just need to recognize it. And now, armed with the knowledge from this video, you have the power to do exactly that. Check your pennies, believe in the possibility, and who knows, maybe the next numismatic miracle story we tell will be yours.